Hello, and welcome to The Kosh. I'm your host, Timber Smith, and The Kosh is a podcast that spotlights people who have had an association with the Kosh or the surrounding Fox Cities area. Also, I would just like to mention that this episode of The Kosh is sponsored by Sturgeon Spirits Craft Distillery, The Kosh's newest tradition. Kosh listeners, how are we doing this morning? You already know. It's a fantastic morning. I'm really excited, actually, and there's a number of reasons I'm excited. A, because I'm sharing space with y'all again, and that's always fantastic. Number two, it's not that cold, which I'm always happy that is not, once again, a squalor going on or any of those other funny words of winter. And lastly, I'm excited because I'm sharing space with somebody who I really consider like a long time friend and mentor. We go ways back. So, you know, when you share that kind of energy in a space, that feels good. It's comforting. It's nice when things feel comfortable. Not that I don't feel comfortable with all my Kosh guests, but when there's that old school relationship there, that's just even another level of it. So, you know, I'm not going to hold us up too long. You know, I don't want to hold us up because, you know, I think this conversation might go for a minute. We got things to say, things to share. But, you know, before we ever kick off, you know what I'm about to say, right? You know what I'm about to say. And that is that I do not understand how I continue to get these amazing guests. And this week is no different. So, yes, that's right. There's fire in this space. So, this week's guest is Kevin Abernathy. Kev, what's going on?
What's up, Timber?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man.
Yeah? All right. Good. I am excited to chop it up with you, you know, and I think I'll just, let me just say this. Kosh listeners, you know, I've been around here for a minute, and almost as long as I've been in the Kosh, I've known Kevin. He's been a good familiar face, a good person to me, always solid, was there. And there's a lot to be said for that. You know, when you have those kinds of things, when you have people's names you say and you smile, that's always a good space to be in. And Kev is definitely one of these people. So I'm excited for him to have the opportunity to share some of who he is and how he's connected to this space. So, I mean, you know, without us holding up much more, Kevin, how we doing this morning first?
Excellent, man.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Can you please share a little something about yourself and your connection to the Kosh and the surrounding Fox Cities area?
Wow. Myself, I guess I'm a married father of 4.
Bruh.
Ain't that crazy?
Wait, 4 ain't no joke.
Oh, man. 33, 25, 19, and 10.
Yeah, that's a span, man.
I have a wonderful, amazing wife that's on a health comeback, that she's had some challenges, that she's really doing amazing coming back. And so I had a very busy, very adventurous 40 years. And then I had a decade of focus on family, focus on foundation. And now I am resurfacing with some of my ambitions. So that's a little bit about me.
No, man, I'm not letting you off that easy.
I know, but I knew you were going to expound on it.
Oh, yeah. No. See, you know, the first thing I think I want to go into is for old school Kosh listeners, people who might have been born and raised here, been here for a minute, you know, Kevin here used to own a club.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, more than one, right? Yeah. Let's go down that list.
Oh, man. Wow. I managed one in Milwaukee, owned one here, one in Neenah, managed one in De Pere, managed one in West Bend. From between 1990 and 1997, I want to say. Had a little run.
You had a run. Yes. Now, see, the one that I remember was when I first came up here, and I believe, was that the See, and now here's the thing. I was about to call the club with I believe what was Big Walt's club.
Oh, no, I gave no credit for the spot.
No. But the bomb.
The bomb, yeah.
The bomb.
Yeah.
The bomb was fire.
It was mistimed, but not for us.
Yes. Mistimed, but not for us.
It was amazing for us.
Right.
But it was mistimed for Oshkosh.
That's probably true. I do think that maybe some of the things you have done, maybe you were always ahead of its time.
Definitely. I always saw things as get going because it's going to take a while. And when I would tell people a vision or something that I see happening and they think like tomorrow, and I think, no, it'll take 2, 5, 10 years.
Right.
But I get going.
Right.
And so everybody else doesn't. Yeah, I have a bad habit of being a visionary, but only showing my first step.
Mm. And then outside of entrepreneurship, there was the times that now Kev here was a model. Look, I'm going to call out all the things, man. Quit fronting, man. Let's talk about these.
They don't have to know everything.
Wait, these are public things. These aren't. This ain't. They might be in the crates.
People don't remember everything, and people don't talk about it. That's so wonderful about life. Certain stuff just drops off.
All right, I'm going to bring up one more thing now.
All right.
Kev was in a movie.
Oh, goodness gracious, man. There you go.
That's right. And a great movie called The Tuskegee Airmen.
Yes, I guess you are correct. See?
Well, because you over here trying to act like, nah, man. And I'm just going to be like, no, you done did some things. We got to talk about this. And you got to understand, my thing with the Kosh is like, we don't know our neighbors.
Oh, no. And that was what's wonderful, though. I remember the model part. I remember standing next to one of my ads here in Oshkosh, and the lady didn't even know it was me. I just walked away laughing.
Yep.
You come back here and it was like, yeah, nothing happened.
Nothing.
Go to Milwaukee, Chicago, anywhere else. It was different.
Right.
So yeah, that was an interesting time.
Yep. That is the truth. What are you currently into?
Believe it or not, a completely different life. I have a remodeling company, and it's amplified improvements. We do mainly like investors work, bowling alleys, banquet facilities, and mainly painting, but painting, power washing, just drywall, anything that improves a place.
Okay. All right. And I asked that to ask this question.
And that's probably shocking to you, isn't it? Because I don't know. I wasn't the handy guy.
You know, not at that time, but I'm never surprised when people become it.
Okay.
Because when you have families, when you're an entrepreneur, there's things you got to fix. There's things, so, I'm not a very handy guy, but I do have a toolbox. And if I got to, I'll figure it out. And I pull a YouTube video up and things get done.
That's right.
But
go to YouTube University.
That's right. Otherwise, I'm not going to front. I am quick to also call the professional. I will pay for quality. Because I'd rather pay for it to be done right the first time, not the fifth time.
And when you have a spouse, you just not necessary to put fuel on that.
I like how you carefully stated that. This is true.
Yeah, you got to tiptoe on that one, but I had to say it.
Yeah.
I had to say it.
Yeah. Nope, I do. There's somebody sitting with a smirk on their face going, yeah. And that's all I'm going to say about that. If you weren't doing what you do professionally right now, what would you like to be doing?
I'd like to be a professional bodybuilder. I mean, if I could really just put all the time into it, I love that for some reason.
You've done that thing before. I mean, you're fit. Well, not that kind of fit.
Well, I did do a physique or a bodybuilding show for people over 50 but that was a goal I set in my 20s when I was still doing them back then, is that I wanted to do one in my 50s. And I had a bunch of health problems in my 40s or 30s and 40s that I used the show as a way to get rid of asthma, get rid of diabetes, get rid of high blood pressure, and actually get into the best shape of my life in my 50s. So, there's my age, and I'm in my 50s.
Yes.
Bruh.
Don't worry, you don't look 50. You look good.
Oh man, it's a podcast. They don't know. They just gonna go by what you say.
Oh no, we gonna put a picture up. You got to remember that happens. What is it like to do that in your 50s? Like, when you're at that age category, to like get back into, and I don't know if you got back into it because you probably were always still in it in some capacity, but like to set like those kinds of physical goals on your body at that age category.
Well, I'm kind of into the whole learn, research, and study success things first. So I learned that it's really your hormones and your glands that run everything versus calories. And you can actually take the right supplements and eat the right foods so that you don't hurt as much. So I learned the philosophy is change your eating, change your supplements, and then you will want to work out.
Oh.
And then I literally train twice a day, 6 days a week, and have to make myself not train on the 7th day because I want to work out. And that's because of what I eat and what I take.
Okay.
Just calories, no. Hormones and glands, yes. They're like, here's the analogy. So if you're not in the shape you want to be in, think about it like a quarterback and a coach who's ever calling the plays. If the quarterback gets a good play, but he audibles out, that's like your hormones and your glands miscommunicating with your body, throwing out the wrong stuff, and you're getting the wrong response where you could have had the right play, you had the wrong play. So what if you could change the play caller? And that's changing which foods or which supplements you take, which call out, which hormones, and make which glands communicate. And then your body changes. I know that was real complicated. But okay.
No. I don't think that's complicated. I actually think people are going to be interested. So I got to ask more questions.
All right.
What do you think what is one of the biggest mistakes we make?
We focus on calling things healthy and making that too general instead of being specific and saying whatever's happening on the outside, there's an organ or a gland that on the inside is not acting right. And that's the real source. And so there's actually there's 4 different body types that show which part on the inside needs attention. And you could each person could identify themselves on it, but we don't do that. And it's not like I made it up. It's called the CIBA or something like it's a medical book that tells all of what's happening on the inside and in a correlation to what's happening on the outside. And I started checking out this book and seeing I need to clean my liver. That was what it was for me. I need to clean my pancreas because if you have diabetes, that's your pancreas.
That's simple.
It's that simple. Well, the pancreas puts out insulin, and insulin either it carries nutrients into the cell, or if you're insulin resistance, which is what causes diabetes, it means you cranking out all this insulin, but it's not going in, but it's floating around your body now. And insulin is a growing hormone. So people get big and out of shape and everything else, not because they are diabetic or because they're diabetic, but not because they're eating so bad. It's because the insulin is not working effectively in their body. So the overabundance of something that makes you grow makes you big. And then once you're big, you got problems because you got too much here and too much there. And it's not because people are lazy or whatever. It's because we're ignorant, in my opinion. Because I don't know if you know, I ballooned up to 67 more pounds than what you see.
Oh, for real?
And I was stuck there for a while with the 19-inch neck, 19-inch shirt. I wore a 19, dude.
19.
19 and a 41-inch waist.
41?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm closer to 30 now.
Well, you passed me because I'm not a 30.
I ain't never been that. I think I skipped 30. What I mean is when I was younger, I think I went straight from 26 to 34. I don't think I ever saw 30.
Look, you right. You know what? I squeezed in a lot of things until I couldn't no more. And then by the time you decide you're not squeezing no more, you done added several digits.
But it's crazy if you think back, did you really eat so bad and so much different as you changed, or were you just changing?
I was probably just changing.
That's what was up with me. And that's what made me just dive deep. Because at 42, I got sat down with they're like, you got diabetes. I'm like, huh? Like, well, for 3 years, your blood sugar's been in the 160s every time we test it. And sometimes it spikes higher. And I'm like, I didn't even know.
That's
a wake up call. But what really got me was I went in on a Friday to do blood work and talk with the doctor. My doctor called me on Saturday morning. Doctors don't call you on Saturday morning.
No. Look, I don't ever want to get a Saturday morning call from a doctor.
I got a Saturday morning, get in here right now call.
Bruh.
491 blood sugar, 13.1 A1C. I don't know if you know what that means.
No.
Okay. So your blood sugar should be around 80 to 120 at the most. That's 80 to 100. And so 491 is off the charts. And then A1C is right. It should be under 6. Right now I'm at like 5, which is excellent. But I've 13.1, which your stroke, heart attack risks bad. So I had to figure out what was going on. And so most of the time when you have a diabetes issue, it's you eat, your body can't process sugar. So you had this insulin thing I was talking about. Well, my body was having an adrenal gland issue. So my adrenal glands were cranking up your fight or flight response, which then takes your protein out of your body, your muscle, burns your muscle, turns it into fat and stores it in your stomach. So I started gaining a stomach. So most of the people, and then I was compounding it I was a welder. Yeah, I was a welder at John Deere. There's another part of the story. So I became this welder while I was being mentored by this guy in real estate. So I'm running his real estate. I'm welding at John Deere. And I'm drinking all this sugar. I'm trying to raise money because I got this business I want to do. And so I'm hustling, ride sharing, drinking full energy drinks and eating donuts and cookies. And so I'm compounding the issue on both sides and started ballooning up. Didn't matter how much I worked out. Didn't matter what I did. I was just boom. And, yeah, and I had that come to Jesus moment that your health is in really bad shape. And then I had 3 friends that were in the same boat and 2 of them died.
Bruh.
Same age.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hits different.
And so I'm the caretaker trying to take care of my wife who had some health challenges and had to stop working. And I'm trying to be super dad and do all this stuff and work all these jobs. And no.
So, well, you know what? When we get offline, I got questions. There's things I want to learn. But for the sake of the listeners, how'd you fix it?
I started studying people who had overcome the health side and people who had overcome what happens emotionally and mentally to a person who tries to go in every direction except for whatever direction they need for themselves.
That makes a lot. Bruh.
Okay. And so by studying results and ignoring everybody's advice, because everybody's advice was look at what they saw and then do what they would do if they didn't know what they were doing. You know, right. It's like, how would they panic? And it's like, I can't do that.
Was there a certain amount of, well, and I'm going to say this because I do believe this is what happens Was there a certain amount of this from the medical community that was just like, well, Black people have diabetes. It's just the way it is. Or was there?
Let me just get that one. I was so blessed that I wasn't completely raised by my family, so I don't know all of their medical history. So when the doctor started asking me all of those family history questions, I couldn't answer it, which forced them to do blood work. And that was the beginning of the success, because I had something in my hand that I could read. I had a chart I could go to online, and I could say, oh, well, this is what it's, what about these numbers over? What do they mean? ALASTALT. What, oh, this is my liver. Okay. This is my kidneys. This is how my testosterone's working. Here's how much estrogen I have, all of these hormones. And then I started reading, okay, what is this? Okay. Your liver runs on this. If it gets too high, it's this problem. You can have cirrhosis, you can die. And then they were putting me in the MRI machine because my liver was too high. My kidneys weren't functioning all the way. And I went 8 years of having kidneys below what you call your normal range. So I was in trouble.
Yeah.
And several times dehydrated in the hospital, IVs for water, because kidneys weren't acting right. So I had to figure all this out. And fortunately, I got my first 2 readings above. So the last year I've been above above the normal range. So my kidneys have been fully functioning and awesome for the first time in a long time. So that's awesome.
Heck yeah, that is.
And then the whole diabetes thing, I've been off of diabetes meds for 5 years now. And that was, first, eliminate the sugar. Second, learn how to eat the meat and vegetables that have all of the things that help you with insulin, because that's in your pancreas. And then I started taking milk thistle and tucca. There are 2 supplements that help clean your pancreas, your liver, and make your gallbladder distribute bile better. And bile breaks down, helps you digest food. It also helps your organs and clean everything. And that's how I got the numbers down, was by focusing on the inside. And how do you give your body whatever it's deficient at versus just try to treat a symptom on the outside. Let's go all the way back to what's the root, and then how do you feed the root?
I love this. All right. Yeah, I'm just being real. Like, I think I think there's a lot of people like, this is a great conversation. We don't have enough health conversations amongst each other.
It's hard, man, because when you talk health, people want to put a mirror in their face and feel guilty about what they're not doing,
right,
instead of learn from what you did. It's hard to even help people, because I can look right at somebody and go, I went through that. I could really tell you 2 or 3 years I can save you 2 or 3 years in 5 minutes. And most people won't take it.
I'm going to take it. When we get offline, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take 10.
You're welcome to it.
All right. I appreciate that. No, I just think this is a great conversation to have overall, because, even if it's not diabetes somebody's dealing with, the method in which you went to figure it out is a method anyone could probably kind of move in to figure different other things out that they're having issues with.
Well, you say that, but here's the truth that I believe, or here's my truth. My truth is any person, or my belief is any person that's overweight could do what it takes to overcome diabetes and get in the best shape of their life, because sugar is stored as fat. Fat is used as fuel. Fat is rarely used and stored as fat in the body, but sugar always is. And protein, it's almost impossible. So if you lower the sugar, you're going to have a better result. If you lower the carbohydrates, you're going to have a better result. And the last thing I want to say about, or next thing, just one more thing I want to say about that, there is no essential carbohydrate.
I don't know what that means.
There's essential fatty acids. So there's
right.
fats you must have. They're essential to your diet, meaning your body can't make it. You have to eat it.
Right.
There's no essential carbohydrate, but there's essential amino acids or proteins and essential fats, but there's no essential sugar. You don't have to have it. And I actually got to the point I did 2 years of just protein and vegetables. So no sugars, almost no carbs, except for the ones that come from vegetables. And vegetables have fiber, and fiber is how you subtract your from whatever your carbohydrate intake is, your fiber, you subtract those numbers to come up with your net carbs. That's why you see net carbs on packages, because then it has fiber. But the point is that I would have 15, 20 grams of net carbs a day. I did that for 2 years, and all my body fixed itself on the inside. So what did I eat? I'd get up and have 5 slices of bacon, 3 to 5 eggs, a sweet potato, avocado, and I'd actually mix it all up and season the mess out of it and put coconut oil in it or cook it in olive oil. So it'd be 60, 70% fat and the rest protein and almost no carbs. And I did that for 2 years. And what happened was amazing, that all of those numbers in my blood work started stabilizing and changing. And the doctors were just like, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. So we don't understand this. They call me a walking miracle. I'm like, it's not a miracle. I changed my food. But anyway, I don't know. I went on a tangent there.
No. This was fantastic. Once again, this is the Kosh, and we want to get to know our neighbors. And also, this matters because I think this would click for a lot of people, regardless. There's those people who really do healthy things. And then there's the rest of us that just we're busy, and we just make that excuse to not take care of ourselves because we label ourselves as busy and don't put this much thought into it.
Yeah.
So I think this was a fantastic conversation.
For that, I hope I'm not beating anybody over the head with my beliefs. I do hope that more people get that it's not so hard when you slide aside marketing. You have to look at TV, food, and the supermarket as someone's marketing to you. They want to sell you something for their reasons. You got to eat it for yours.
That's boss wisdom. For real. That is boss wisdom. That is that is just wisdom.
And I'm not saying don't give in. I'm saying, okay, so I did my 2-year thing because I had all those health things. When I got a clean bill of health, I switched to a 90-10 philosophy that says 90% of the time I'm doing exactly what I know to do. 10% of the time I'm doing whatever I want.
Right. Right. You got to live a little.
Well, once I fixed it, 90-10 is a great ratio.
Yeah.
The body can handle 10%. And some of it you can use to your advantage, especially if you want a little bit more muscle. There's a way to actually make glucose go into the muscle, and it makes you fuller and look better and stronger. But if you don't have your insulin issue down first, that additional glucose can get you in trouble with your health. But once you fix and your body's not insulin resistant anymore, you can raise your glucose or your carbohydrate level just a little bit. And it actually will benefit you, because when you get your hormones right, your body will take fat, it will take protein, and it will take carbohydrates and put it into the muscle instead of in between the skin and the muscle and into the organs. So that's why you see these bodybuilders get bigger and bigger and bigger. They eat carbs because they've gotten their sugar issue right first.
Okay.
So anyway, I hope that helps someone, because somebody's going, but I want to have some muscle, but I don't want to eat like a rabbit, but I don't want to eat like a carnivore. Yeah, it's a little complicated, but it's doable. And I just advise people to first study yourself a little bit first. If you want to do any of this stuff that you hear me talk about, remember you're an individual, and that there's no blanket system for anybody that works for everybody. You got to personalize it and find out how you work. And then Doctor's job is to drug you. A surgeon's job is to cut you. A nutritionist's job is to help you with your food. Build your team. Don't go out there with a medical doctor or just a surgeon. Get the nutritionist involved. Find out what the food does. And maybe even look at an endocrinologist so that you can understand how your endocrine system works, because how your body distributes signals on the inside is really how everything runs. And your food is just signal callers. Just like, I love this. It's like taking Aaron Rodgers out and putting in Jordan Love. It's just, you're going to get a different team. You're going to get a different result. And if you take Jordan Love out and you put in somebody who's a scrub, you're going to get a way different result. So just, your food is your signal callers.
That is a really good analogy too. Look, man, you're going to have people reaching out to the Kaj talking about, who's the gentleman with the diet knowledge? We want to holler at him.
You know, I really love helping people with that too. It's just, I'm usually so busy trying to make places look better that I often don't get a chance to explore this side. So thanks for the platform.
No, thank you. All right. You ready to jump into the first segment?
That's hilarious. Yes.
You didn't realize we ain't even got to the first segment yet.
That was just the intro.
That was just the intro. All right. The first segment is called What in the World is Going On With? This is where you start with the phrase, what in the world? And then you tell us what's on your mind. So, Kevin, what's on your mind?
We just covered it. What in the world going on with our food?
No. Well, you know.
Just it is really easy to eat bad. It is. It's simple. It's everywhere. If you want to eat bad, you just got to get to the corner. You don't even have to go in the store. The vending machine is on the outside. Just say it. It's easy to eat bad.
Right.
So what in the world's going on with our food? Why is it so tasty? Why does it go down so easy?
This is true.
This is business.
It's business.
It's business. It's science and it's business. And you got to understand that they're making money.
I love how you said you got to look past the marketing.
Yeah. Look past it. Yeah. Hey, I'm not blaming them for marketing. I was in marketing. I completely understand, how do you get the end user and your product or service to match? What I don't understand is when we go so scientific and we manipulate the masses of people in order to make our profits.
Do good because it's good.
Wait, how do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, as a company, like, if you know, you let people know, like, this is the good stuff.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking more of, we need to have the other side of that equation, which is, if it's so easy to eat bad, it needs to get so easy to eat good.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and if you want to make money, to me, that's the opportunity, is then, okay, make it real easy for people to eat good. If you want to make money.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this then, because here's the argument, right? It is easy to eat bad. And I think people know that it's easy to eat bad. And then they say it's expensive to eat good. So as a person eating good, do you think it's expensive?
I've learned it's cheaper to eat good if you can cook. If you can't cook, it's not easy. It's expensive. It's really expensive. But I had the fortune, another thing. Okay. So Timber, rewind in my timetable. I also did a franchise prototype of a from scratch restaurant. And I went around for 2 years and I grabbed family recipes. I traveled down south and I sat in kitchens and watched aunties and uncles and do their thing and steal their recipes. And I opened up a little restaurant, and I found out that when you cook from scratch, it's cheaper. So if I get up and I could grab a carton of pre-made eggs or if I crack some eggs, it's way cheaper.
Oh yeah.
And
Bruh.
Facts.
so so I started making all of my, like, okay, I'd buy the whole spare rib, and then I'd cut and I'd make the rib tips and the ribs, and then I'd have way more meat, and it actually costs $4 less to get the whole spare ribs than it did to get just the St. Louis cut or the baby back.
Right.
So I started learning these things. So I'd go buy a whole shoulder, and I take the shoulder, and now I can make that, and I got meat for 5 days, or whatever. But the point is that you make some, you freeze some, but it's always cheaper to make the food from scratch instead of buying it processed or cooked, and then it's better for you. And you got to learn how to season, though.
Bruh.
Why you bring up the seasoning?
Because we live in the Kosh, and as wonderful as the people and the environment, they don't season their food enough. Not for me.
Mm.
So, and when they eat my food, they agree.
Wait. That's all I can say.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I wanted to do a franchise prototype for a future part of my aspirations as a developer, and you can get into that if you want, is in family entertainment centers, or what we know as bowling alleys. And I've been a bowler my whole life. So, and my dad had a bowling alley when I was a kid, and my cousin Freddie had a bowling alley when I was a kid. So I grew up in them, and I want them, and I want them in volume because of some other things. But we did the restaurant part because we wanted to make sure that you could take food from people of African descent out of the South and put it everywhere. Because I got tired of going in the small towns, and every small town you go into, there's a sandwich shop, there's an Italian restaurant, there's a Mexican restaurant, there's a Chinese restaurant, or some type of Asian. Where are we?
Not in that small town.
Completely absent in every small town. Everybody else is covered, but we're missing. And so I wanted a franchise prototype that could go in every small town. So while I was in Waupun, of all places, managing an apartment for a so-called mentor, we'll just say it that way, and welding at John Deere, I'm feeding everybody white. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it that way. I'm feeding everybody white I can find, because I'm like, this is not their food. Try this, taste this. I had 31 other tenants that were all eating my food and trying my recipes. And so there was a little gas station around the corner that had a kitchen empty, and I came to a time where I was managing the apartments, but the couple that were owning it, they were going through a divorce. And the guy we liked, the woman we didn't. She won. We were out. I had an opportunity.
Bruh.
And so I found this little kitchen. I went in, made a deal with dude. I had been saving up money, working 2.5 shifts, barely sleeping. But the point was I saved up the money, opened up the little restaurant in the gas station, and sure enough, it will work. But then there was this thing called COVID that changed my thinking, and it made me say, okay, I got 4 people in my place. All 4 have had issues with asthma. Wife's having all these health problems. We don't know what the world this is. Prioritized. And we closed it up. But I'm completely sure that it works, but that's why I learned that's where I learned that it's cheaper to make everything from scratch than because my food costs for like 17%, and that's stupid low. It's awesome low.
Right.
I mean, because I've been in the restaurant since, my first job in the restaurant, I was 12 years old. I was a cook by 15. I wasn't even supposed to be in there yet. And so, yeah, food cost is usually 30, 33%. And so it's half if you can make it from scratch. So it's cheaper. That's the answer, that long answer for that short question.
Hey, it was a good answer.
All right.
That's all that matters. All right. What in the world is going on with YouTube DJs?
Uh-oh.
Wait, no.
Bruh.
Now I'm gonna tell you why. So what I noticed was, YouTube is that place where you go on YouTube to look up one thing, but then once the video's over and if you don't stop it, things keep playing. And so what I found was there's this thing that came on, and I was looking for new music. Actually, is what I was kind of doing. And there's a gentleman that came on, and let me just lay the setup for you. All my man is, and he's got this beautiful backdrop where it's overlooking some city, sun's coming in, he's got a bunch of plants. He's in this kind of real cottony, free-flowing thing. He's got a mixing board in front of him, and he's got tea and Fiji water. And all he does is he's playing tracks, mixes them slightly together in and out. And this is, in particularly this genre was R&B or neo soul. Every once in a while, he would lean back off his couch, move a couple of dials, and then lean back in. And he's just playing tracks. Now, here's why I find this fascinating. First of all, he's got 750,000 followers, right? And it was fire because I played it for 2 days watching this dude just do this. He wasn't doing nothing.
But he's playing the right track.
He's playing the right track.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, he's got the tracks.
Okay.
He's got the tracks. But I mean, it's just and it was soothing. There's a vibe to it. And I was like, why? What am I missing? Like, how? Who thought of that? And it's brilliant.
It is brilliant.
And he's not the only one. So as I go out here and I look around, and I was like, oh, there's others. There's others that do different things. There's a couple I found that she DJs and he cooks, and they do breakfast foods. So he's playing like,
that's a restaurant,
house music and stuff, and he's over here cracking eggs and making pancakes.
Don't be mad at me if in the future you walk into one of my bowling alleys and in the restaurant there's a DJ right next to the window for the cook.
Look, I'll never be mad.
It might happen. Don't be mad.
But I'm just saying.
Sorry about that.
No, but I'm just saying for this on YouTube, and it just made me feel some kind of way. Like there's so many different ways to build an audience and build views. Like that was so simple because my man literally, his whole play was just being a vibe, playing the right tracks. Mm-hmm. And being a vibe and getting up. Like there was no action in it. Every once in a while, he would just get up. Not every track, even. Every track, and then he'll just mix it and fade it in real smooth. He might do a little loop in there, and then is it. He backs back out. He grabs his Fiji water. He sits there with the little scrungy face, the lips and the duck lips and the scrungy face, and bobs his head, and like it's a feel. And I was like, man, I could have been doing this. It made me feel some kind of way. So I share all this, Kosh listeners, to tell you this. If the Kosh does have a YouTube channel. And if on the Kosh's YouTube channel, you start seeing DJ Timber out there vibing in the studio, playing tracks, you know where it came from.
You must call me for a guest DJ spot.
Oh, done.
Because I don't know if you remember.
Oh, no, I remember.
Because we skipped right over the radio part.
Yes, you did radio.
Yeah.
Kosh listeners right now are like, Kev, what didn't you do?
I got some very good advice that is starting to pay off, like this mentor told me it would in 1999, but I didn't believe him. He says, stop working for money. Start working to learn. And if you'll work to learn in your 30s and 40s, you'll have a life in your 50s and beyond that you can't believe. Mm. He was right. And so I was working to learn. I was saying, I'd go, like when I went into radio, I was actually DJing in the club. Oh, may I introduce you to my first investor in my whole DJ career? Because I went to Timber and I'm like, Timber, I need such and such money to get this system up so I can do this DJ stuff with computer and mixing, and I want to do it live. And I was like $600 short. And Timber hooked me up, and I came back, gave him back the money, and he looked at me like, I can trust you. I'm like, dude, yeah, you can. Yeah.
Thanks.
And so, but the point was, is that's how I got started with mixing. and making mixes. And then I went into every radio company in the region and said, I've been doing this in clubs and I'm seeing a variety of people respond to this music. It needs to be on the radio. And I got this show concept and everything, and I put the time into it, and most of them ignored me. But we got real lucky. There's this guy named Shaggy who was transitioning into pop music.
Mm-hmm.
And he was coming to Green Bay in concert. And they said, we don't know what to do with you. We've never had anything like this, but show up at the concert. Bring your sound. Play this music you say is going to work on the radio, and we'll see. Well, the light show had some malfunctioning. So instead of having like 20 minutes, I had an hour and a half. And the crowd's loving it. Nobody cares that the light show's off. We're jamming. I get on stage, take the mic, and put out in the audience, and 1,400 people started singing a song he wasn't playing on the radio. And he just said, I don't know what we're going to do with you, but you're hired. And then we had a little show called the Urban Suite that came out of that.
I remember the Urban Suite.
And so it was only Sunday nights, 2 hours.
Yep.
But what happened was people were traveling back from Milwaukee and Chicago, Madison or whatever, back into the Kosh, the Appleton, the Green Bay area, and they get the show right when they're traveling in. And then some people would actually turn the radio on and listen to it. And it ended up getting the best ratings that radio company had, and they thought it was a joke until it did it twice in a row. And then I got a call from a different company that says, how would you like to help us start a radio station doing what you're doing for 2 hours on Sunday? And I'm like, yes, fill me in. And it was something called Wild 99.7 that ended up happening. And they brought me in, and the owner's son, I did not understand the Jeff Wright, amazing guy. I didn't understand the complexity of Jeff's situation, that he happened to honestly fall in. I mean, just Duke Wright's son, Midwest Communication from Wausau, happened to fall in love with the only woman of African descent probably in Wausau. And so he loved the culture. He loved the music. He loved the woman. He sat me down and he says, I've been listening to your show from day one, and I am an owner son of your competition. And I'm like, and he's like, we want to do a radio show. But he says, do you want fame or money? I'm like, I had already modeled. I'm like, fame didn't do that much for me. I need to make some money. And he says, well, then you need to be in sales. And so I went into marketing and learned the marketing side of radio and music and records. And I had that wonderful experience helping Wild 99.7. But there was a clash where they didn't understand that if you take Black music, but you don't take Black culture, you're going to pimp it. You're going to make it look wrong. It's going to come across in a way that was embarrassing to some people of African descent. And it's
not authentic to us.
Right. And it wasn't authentic. And I went in and I sat down with all of them and I said, I have to leave. This is not, you guys aren't listening, that you can't take Black community and leave God out. You can't leave our culture out. You can't leave our struggle out. And you can't put some white guy faking a Black voice up front and then expect us to say, yeah. No, I have to leave. And within a month, a lot of I said, if you take God and community out, you're going to have chaos. And there was a bunch of chaotic events that kept happening with the station, and they pulled the plug on it within a month of me walking out. So that's unfortunately, the Fox Valley and Green Bay has never recuperated. I tried to do another radio show on K107, on 107.1. I took the Urban Suite to it and did it for another year there. But similar things happened where the community just wasn't, Fond du Lac wasn't trying to have that.
Bruh. Wait, that bruh was for Fond du Lac.
They need it bad. But in Fond du Lac, look, I'm going to say something really mean, but it needs to be heard. Fond du Lac only allows for one class of Black person, and it's not the one that any of us really care to be. Their expectations is through the floor. is horrible. It
Mhm.
needs to be faced. I'm sorry, I said it.
Well, no. Wait, once again, hey, look, all I can do is, I don't want to hate on no community.
Oh no, I'm trying to inspire some people there because there's some great people there who have no leverage.
There is great people in Fondy, but Fondy. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, that's good stuff. Like, so we went down another rabbit hole.
Oh, and I used to have rental property in Fond du Lac. It's like I bought a rental property there. And I rented to people in Fond du Lac for 4 years before I moved there. So, and I'm not just hating on them. I really went through it for a while and finally just said, I'm good. We can go now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no.
I do want to help. I do want to be a part of Fond du Lac's future. But we're going to need some bridges. We're going to need some, there's some things that have to.
I think progress is getting made, but it's not even slow.
Oh,
it's beyond slow.
It's beyond slow. Shout out to Bishop Haywood and Lady Bishop Haywood and Fond du Lac. They are inspiring people, and they've been putting up with Fond du Lac for like 30 years. Shout out to them for the longevity.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anybody else that's been there that long in the community doing anything. I'm sure there is. You can maybe what do you say? You can put it in the comments. But
No.
I don't know.
I'm gonna be like this. I don't know anybody like that.
No.
Like, I know a number of people here and a number of people in Fondy and other municipalities around here, but not Fondy. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. We're gonna have a DJ talk too offline. So that's a whole nother thing. Okay. We are ready to jump into segment 2. Segment 2. This segment is called 21 Questions. And this is where I ask you some questions, not 21 of them, but they are such good questions that we might get 21 answers.
All right.
All right. First question. What are you grateful for?
My life.
That's simple. Like it. Hey, I'm going to leave it there too. What motivates you?
Results.
What grounds you?
The thought of a God.
What does success look like to you?
Effectively helping others.
What irritates you?
Selfishness.
What scares you?
My potential.
What recharges your soul?
When I hear about people's success stories that I had something to do with.
How do you define love?
Giving.
What is the most memorable life lesson you've learned from a parent, guardian, or mentor?
If you'll do enough to help people have what they want, you'll always have all the help you need getting whatever it is that you want.
Okay. That was a precision round. All right. That was good. Okay. Next segment. Next segment is called Word Association. This is where I'm going to say some words to you and tell us what comes to mind. What's going on with you? All right.
All right.
And first word. We have a tradition here on the Kosh, and that is the first word, the word that unifies us all, the word that makes us smile when we say it, the word that brings us all together. And that word is food.
Oh, what am I supposed to? Wait. I'm sorry.
You got excited.
Excited about food.
You got excited.
Food. I'm sorry.
I've not done that before, so you lost track. Word. I'm going to go back. This is word association.
Thank you. One more time.
All right. This is word association. So I'm going to say some words, and you're going to tell us what comes to your mind when I say these words. I'm not going to redo it, but I'm just going to come back to it, and we're going to say the word food.
Opportunity to either enjoy the flavors or share a moment with others.
Cocktail or beer?
Both. No. Cocktail. Cocktail. Fine. Cocktail.
What's our favorite?
Scotch.
Straight.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe with a little water, but yes. Straight.
Okay. We got a favorite kind?
I can't afford it. So here's what I drink. Doers. I drink JB. I drink Johnny Walker.
Okay.
Black.
Shop local.
Good idea. Good for everybody to do that.
We got a favorite local spot?
Food or anything?
Anything. It's shop local.
Yeah. I don't know if that's local.
You can say it. Just say it. What came to mind?
There's a little country bar just south of Fondy in a little town called North Byron. Guido's and Byron. Just a little. I mean, I know Scott, the owner, but just a little bar is just good food, nice environment in the middle of nowhere. You got a bunch of wind turbines outside, and I know that's a little outside of the Kosh, but.
Oh, no. We covered the region.
Oh, good.
So, yeah. Guido's. I want to hear about this. What's the food there? What do you get?
It's just burgers and pizzas and your normal stuff, but it's just well made. Everything tastes good, and it's just there's always a good conversation at the bar.
Okay.
You just talking about a bunch of country folks there and invite you in, and it's a podcast, but this area the diversity is concentrated in certain areas and it's absent in others. So when you go in a place that's not diverse and you get treated extremely well, yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, no. I know. That's exactly. No ifs, ands, buts. We don't forget. Mm-hmm. You earn our loyalty and we reflect our loyalty with our dollars.
Been going there since 1994 when I used to work at Quad Graphics, and it was on the road home. And I pulled in there one day, been eating there, going in there ever since.
That's what I'm saying. That's how you build repeat customers.
Yeah. I get off the highway sometime and just go in there.
Concert.
You mean like?
It's your word association. I can't tell you anything.
Because when you say concert, first thing, my eyes get big and I go back to the 80s and 90s.
Let's do it. Who'd you go to? What are you thinking? What came to mind?
Michael and Hammer, quick. Both. Michael and Hammer. I saw them both in an instant because they were just two life-changing moments. Your guy used to I still like to dance. Okay. And so I was that Michael impersonator, that Hammer impersonator. So, oh man, I can still move. I don't care.
I don't think people give Hammer enough credit.
Ooh, I think you're right.
Hammer, you know what? It was said, I was reading an article, and this year was not this year, last year. Last year was a celebration of 50 years of hip hop, right? Mm-hmm. Where was Hammer? Because you can't, don't disrespect Hammer like that. You may not feel like it's hip hop like in other ways, but Hammer is influential and had impact. It was Hammer.
Yeah, from 90 to 95, you couldn't get away from him.
No.
And most people didn't want to.
No. He made people wear crazy looking pants.
Because he made you feel good.
He did. And I don't know.
Looking pants.
I don't know nobody that wasn't out there trying to do some Hammer moves.
Who can get you to wear black and gold lame? Gold lame, man. He got people to wear gold lame.
Look, all I know is this: you couldn't mess with Hammer.
No,
Hammer was a bad man, and I mean,
please,
that man,
Hammer, don't hurt him.
Yeah, that man didn't say nothing bad. He just made you feel good.
When you go back and listen to some of the songs, though, he made it completely clear that he was nice, he was upstanding, but if there's a problem, he would knuckle up.
Yeah, you didn't want it with Hammer. He's Hammer.
I heard you didn't want it with Hammer.
Right. You didn't want it with Hammer. Hammer let you know.
Yeah. That's crazy though. Just so astute, so nice looking. And then just could knock you out. That's not right. You can't. I don't know. He's on both sides of that. It's just like you're not supposed to be smooth, good looking, and prim and proper, and the guy that can knock you out. I don't know.
I don't think we give Hammer enough credit because you know what? Hammer might be the original Chris Brown. Not that Hammer can sing like Chris Brown, because Chris Brown can sing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying that performance level.
Oh,
like for sure. And I'm not trying to take nothing away from Michael, because Michael's a different league.
It was a different kind of dance.
Yeah.
Michael was a performer, and he took all the greatest moves and put them together.
Yeah.
Hammer moved in ways that we had never seen before.
Facts.
And we couldn't stop trying to do it.
And was never good at it.
Sorry, man. It was in my bones. I can still.
You killing me,
Bruh.
If y'all had a visual, no. Okay, next.
Streaming.
The most interruptive thing I've ever seen. It interrupted a whole industry in the way we did everything. It took what we used to go watch on the big screen, what we used to go to the video store and buy, and it put it on our phone, and we can broadcast it to a TV screen or look at it anywhere in the world. It's just, streaming's a game changer.
Facts. Okay. Entrepreneurship.
Greatest thing ever created. Love it. I think it's the answer. Oh, sorry. I'm about to say something.
I'm going to let you. Go on.
I think it's the answer for men and women of African descent around the world. And it's definitely the answer for any person, especially a person of African descent that's ever been incarcerated or in the system. I think it's the biggest opportunity ever to create your own reality. But we don't teach it. We teach job. And until we stop teaching job, we're going to have inequality, because there are people who are so wealthy because they never taught job, but they were never taught job. They don't teach their kids job. They teach things that create lineage. So entrepreneurship creates lineage, and it's the most vital thing that we need to add to our lives. Not just people of African descent, but Americans. A percentage of us need to become entrepreneurs. That's why we're getting our butt kicked all around the world, is because we're not solving our own problems. And entrepreneurship is solving problems for others. That's why you get paid. So that's my bit.
Like it. Last word. Diversity.
A joke.
Break it down.
Every time I go into a diversity thing, I'm the only diversity in the room. It's a joke. We need to stop forcing diversity and let people be authentic and let people appreciate the differences of others. And then we'll be diverse. But until we make it okay to be different, we're never going to have diversity, because everybody wants you to come into the room and then homogenize. No.
That is true. Okay. That went hard. All right. Thank you. Next segment. This next segment is called the Kosh Hidden Gems. This is your opportunity to share a hidden gem. This hidden gem can be something everybody knows, and maybe they don't know the detail about it, or maybe it's something you don't think a lot of people know. And it is not limited to just the Kosh. So what's your hidden gem?
A little Oshkosh.
What?
Hold on. Because they have the fitness equipment. So the hidden gem is, we talked about health, is that you can work out. They got workout equipment.
Oh, no, I don't know where Little Oshkosh is. I'm asking you to expand.
Oh, on the water at their only place, there's like 8-10 feet of sand here in Oshkosh. And Menominee Park, there's
the playground.
There's a playground that has this very cushy ground where you don't get hurt, that you can do lunges and things like that. And then there's actually like a leg press and a leg lift and a couple of other little pieces of equipment And then I use some of the kids' playground equipment to do pull-ups and crazy stuff. But the point is that then I go over to the sand and I work out by walking backwards in the sand and doing squats and things in the sand. And so to me, that's a hidden gem. And then if you go over by where the hospital used to be, there's a basketball court and there's several other pieces of equipment to work your shoulders and your chest and things like that. So just that you can work out there and get different things in. And plus, any place with water and sand, I love it. So to me, Little Oshkosh is my hidden gem. And if anybody really goes down there often, they've seen me. I'm the guy out there walking backwards through the sand. Because I started studying the knees over toes guy in Athletic Truth Group, and I rebuilt my ankles, my knees, and my hips. I'm faster. I can jump higher than ever in my life, and I'm 52 because of the walking backwards. And then let me back up. First, I started on a treadmill walking backwards like a half mile an hour. Then I learned how to turn the treadmill off and push the belt backwards, and that developed the stability in my knees. And then I didn't even know I could build my hips and hip flexors. And then I started walking backwards through like just neighborhoods or at the park instead of walking forward. And then I started challenging myself, whether I'm in Oshkosh or if I go to Milwaukee and go to a beach, and then walking backwards in the sand forced me every step to have stability and balance. And it just got to a point where it started building. I can do some amazing things with my knees now that I couldn't never do. And it came from that. And every day it was over like 65, 70 degrees. You can find me down there working out.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. A lot of times I'm no stalker or nothing, but I actually drive by here. One day I did drive by and beep the horn.
No.
You and Teresa were sitting on the porch.
Oh, we live on the porch. If it's warm, we be chilling. That's right. There, make no mistake about that. Okay. It's that time. We're going to take a quick commercial break.
Did you know there are children in the Fox Valley in need of hearing aids, but their parents struggle to provide them because of lack of insurance or high copays? I am Juliette Sturkins, audiologist and board member of Here in the Fox Cities, and proud that this small local nonprofit organization has helped fund hearing aids for some 30 kids. Your donation would help more children hear. Visit hereinthefoxcities.org to learn more and to see their smiles. Every child deserves to hear.
Okay, we are back. And before we go any further, I just want to take a quick moment and remind everybody that this episode of The Kosh is sponsored by Sturgeon Spirits Craft Distillery, the Kosh's newest tradition. And let me just say, like, I don't just talk about Sturgeon Spirits. I be at Sturgeon Spirits. And I was there last night having a wonderful cocktail or libation or two. And then I decided to move into, what is it? I'm trying to think, what do you call that? When you have a row of drinks, shots, basically, or they do them, not a row of shots. It's I'm not going to remember the word, but like if you go to a beer place and they give you get like 4 of them.
The samples, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
You get a smaller size of each
right,
one.
Because you want to try several things.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So I did one of those last night, and I did like, it was all fruity vodkas, and it was fantastic. But the guy next to me, he decided to test his palate with some of the hot stuff, and he was doing good. So he did the jalapeno shot. I was watching him handle that, right? And then he moved to a habanero. He squirmed a little bit, but he handled it. But it was the ghost pepper. That ghost pepper, it was getting at him. It was getting at him. But you know what he didn't do?
What's that?
Quit.
Oh,
he handled it.
Okay.
But it was a good conversation I was having with that gentleman. I just want to mention this because that is the kind of place this is. It's just cool. Like, I didn't know him, but I was watching him. I was telling him, oh man, I don't know, bro. And he was like, nah, man. And I was like, yeah. And we had this great conversation. It's such a cool setting in there. And he manned up.
Yeah, the whole time I'm thinking, how you feeling? Hot, hot, hot. I don't know if I'm the guy who would have handled the hot.
Oh no, and it was good. I forgot what his last shot was.
Some bread. No,
no, I mean they hit different. What I like about it is they just put a little heat in the chest. Now I've done this flight. That's the word.
See, I do hot with food. I've not really done hot with drinks.
They're good. It's good. Actually, my favorite cocktail, which it has a name, but I'm going to rename it because I'm the one that orders it, and we're going to call it the Kosh. So the Kosh cocktail does have a little habanero in it, and not a lot, but enough that as it goes down, it makes the chest really warm. So, Kosh listeners, what I want to do is we talk about, sturgeon spirits. I want y'all to go into sturgeon spirits and start asking for the Kosh. Let's just go ahead and put that. Say, I need one of those Kosh cocktails.
You might as well put it on the menu now.
Hey,
because they're gonna come asking for it.
Hey, look, they'll know. They'll know. All right.
Hey, can you put a Kosh light for me?
There's no light Kosh.
Come on, man.
There's Kosh.
All right.
Next segment is called Story Time. This is an opportunity for our guests to tell the Kosh listeners a story, and that story can be about absolutely anything. So now, Kevin, you are a masterful storyteller, so I'm very excited about this.
And I'm torn.
No, don't be torn. Just go on and tell us.
All right. I'm going to tell the story of, I'm torn. I got 3 I could tell you. I'll stick to the easy one. I'll tell you the story of me trying to become a model. So I had the Bomb nightclub here in Oshkosh, or sports bar, whatever you want to call it. And was trying to get modeling agencies to sign me. And I only had luck with a local agency doing Fleet Farm and Kohl's, and then East Bay. And nobody would give me a shot. So I started driving to other cities and get to Chicago, and everybody's telling me no. And one lady's like telling me no and making fun of me, and I just wouldn't leave. And actually, I came back, and she's like, I thought I told you no. I'm like, I'm going back to everybody till somebody tells me yes. And she's like, you think you could model, huh? I said, yeah. And she goes, I'm fine, whatever. And she calls me like a day or 2 later, and she goes, says same thing, it's same tone. You think you could be a model, huh? I tell you what, you come to Chicago and I'll give you an audition. I said, I'll get it. She goes, you don't even know what it is yet. I said, I'll get it. Give me the audition. Give me a shot. And she says, well, I had afro I'm showing my hands out to my shoulders, afro. And if you braid it, it was halfway down my back. And I had to shave my head for the audition, not for the job.
Bruh.
So I traveled to Chicago. I shaved my head. I told her I'll get it. I shaved my head. I traveled to Chicago. I get there. There's a line. I'm number 497.
Bruh.
And I have shaved my head and told this lady I'm going to get it. So I get in there. Finally, I'm the second to the last model. No, I'm the last model. I'm the last one in line. And the guy before me is, I don't know if he's drunk or if he's high, but his eyes are bloodshot. They are really annoyed, talking about how bad this whole process has been. And I'm the last shot. So I go in, and they asked me they said something about attitude or whatever. And I had a player Oakleys and a leather jacket, and that was in the 90s. So, you know, early 90s. And I said, I got attitude in the closet over there with my leather jacket and glasses. And they said, well, go put them on. And I put the glasses on, came back and whatever, and I got the audition. And it ended up being in Ebony and Jet and on posters and billboards and little pop-up stands and Walgreens. And like, I walked into a Walgreens and there was Cindy Crawford, Halle Berry, and me.
Bruh.
And I just looked at the lady and started having a conversation with her and looked down at the thing, looked at the lady, didn't say nothing, walked out the store. She had no clue. But that was the coolest thing, is I had the experience of being in a bunch of different magazines. I actually had the Source magazine, where at the height of Master P of No Limit, Master P's on the front and his Army General whatever, and I'm on the back doing a Coca-Cola ad. That was the second ad because, fast forward, they still wouldn't give me a deal. And they said, we have another audition. I said, I'll get it. So this time there's only 95 bald-headed black men in the room, but it's for 18 to 20-year-old, and I'm 26 years old. And the director says, no, I go up to the director and I asked him, I said, when this ad is done, what do you want it to look like? He just pulled back and said, nobody's ever asked me that. He says, I want it to look like it's 107 degrees and you can't wait to open this ice cold Coca-Cola. So that's what I focused on, and I got the audition. And then I got the ad. And then the last one I want to tell you on that story, because it's a trilogy. The day my son Kevin Jr. was born, I had an audition. I had another audition in Chicago, and I called him. I said, my girl's in labor. It's going long. I can't be there till tomorrow. Can we please move this till tomorrow? And they argued with me for a while at the agency, but they said, fine, they've moved it till tomorrow for you because they can't find who they're looking for, right? So he's born 1 a.m. I hold him, hang out to 4 or 5 a.m, hit it to Chicago. I get there, I walk in, and they say, audition's over. I'm like, man. And they say, you're the reason audition's over. It was the same people that did the Coca-Cola ad were now doing the Crest ad, and they were looking for me, but I wasn't signed. So they couldn't find me. So when I walked in,
it was over.
It was over. And I had the job. So there's my how I got into modeling and had some different ads story. All while living in the Kosh, by the way.
Facts. I remember these.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
I was leaving town and coming back, and nobody knew it.
Wait. I'm not saying much because
shout out to the alphas though, because the alphas put my ads up in the alpha house.
Of course we do.
Shout out to the alphas, man.
That's right.
Alpha Phi Alpha always had my back. Shout out.
Always. But nah, man, I remember all of these.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah. You were there.
Man, I was around for these very cool. I mean, looking back at it, it's just amazing. It's not something everybody can talk about. And what I'm going to say is myself is book worthy. Your journey, the journey of all of the things that comprises who Kevin is.
Ooh, child. You don't even, if I just gave you an entry to say, you say that, and you don't even know I was raised by 15 families other than my family before I was 15. I was never in childcare. I was emancipated as an adult on my 16th birthday. We don't even have all that in there.
Right. We ain't even got there.
I lived on 60th and Crenshaw in LA. I was recruited by the Crips at 9. We don't even have that in there.
Bruh.
I don't know anybody who's walked away from an initiation. And I did. I had a gangster tell me, get out of here. You're going to do something with your life. We don't even have that in there. When do gangsters do that?
Not often enough.
Not often enough. But God bless Cowboy, because that's what he did. That's what he did.
I'm going to leave that alone. And we'll expand about that a little bit more.
So a little history. When you go back and you listen to old rap songs, you'll hear his name in there.
I think Cowboy wrote a book.
I think Cowboy wrote a book. I know Cowboy wrote it. Yeah.
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 Okay. Well, that's story time. That was good. All right.
And it was surface and it was good.
Facts. All right. It's that time. You know, that means it is time for the topic of the week. The topic of the week is chosen by our guests 99.9% of the time. And this week is no different. So, Kev, what's our topic of the week?
Our topic of the week is developing small towns across Wisconsin.
Ooh,
Bruh.
let's go.
I believe that we have a situation where we have new highways that have made travel patterns a little different and have opened up some opportunities from Milwaukee to Green Bay, Appleton to Milwaukee, Fond du Lac to Madison, Madison to Dubuque, La Crosse to Eau Claire, and from Eau Claire over to Shawano. I mean, so I'm saying that there's some small rural towns and cities that have room for growth, and they have all the right infrastructure. And there's a lot of lake towns too around, like Lake Mills is a wonderful area, but there's a lot of lake towns that offer a great quality of life. And we have a lot of people relocating and moving to where they want to live versus where they have to work because of options of working from home, working over the internet or whatever. And then there's people who are looking for a different life out of a different city. There's a lot of migration out of Illinois, and some of it's coming here. But the point is that I'm going to tap dance on something racial and economic with why I think we need to go into small towns. And what I mean is this. I had a friend ask me, a white friend of mine, male asked me, why do we still have so much separation between whites and blacks? I said, because we don't prosper together. So my opinion is people of African descent need to develop in small and rural towns so that we're a part of that town's growth. And so that you don't have these experiences like what I recognized in Fond du Lac and Waupun was there are people that go their whole childhood and never have an interaction with a person of African descent. And they definitely don't have any teachers or anyone that they could look up to or see in authority so that they have an equal respect. And that is a challenge because then you have people who go on to school or college or they are employers and they've never had a black associate or black friend. And so it's an us and them situation. And the people who are local to that community that everyone's comfortable with, they don't even have to be as qualified to do better. And so to take the inequalities out, we first have to raise the expectations. And the only way we raise the expectations is give people experience. So if we go into small and rural towns and we're on the board for the festivals and we're dealing with the mayor and the city planner and we're in the schools and we're guest speakers and we're the person standing up that because you contributed to the thing that helped build the new school or whatever, you're involved in the community and you're a person of African descent, that is a missing thing. So I think we need to be involved in developing small rural towns so that, because that's where our big city population comes from, is all the small cities. They grow up and move to the big city. Well, what's their personal experience with people of African descent? Zero. What's their expectation? You're an athlete or you're a criminal, because they don't have any other connection. And that's the challenge to me, is that they should know people. Because I watch my friends, Evolas and Waupun, and they're Italian, and their dad came in the 70s because he saw a 40-mile radius with no Italian restaurants, came in, raised his family. Well, because they are so involved in the community, they're treated like the community, and it's an all-Dutch community. But no one else had that leverage, and it made it confirmed my belief that it doesn't matter if you're from a different group. If you're involved in the success of that town, you're going to do well and be accepted. And if you're not involved with the town prospering, you're going to struggle, and people are going to look at you like you're pulling the economy down around here. You're part of the problem. We have to support you. But if you're providing the jobs and you're providing the housing, that is not how people are going to perceive you.
What about the challenges when those opportunities when they don't allow you to necessarily buy the things to do the things, or when you are not allowed to become part of those committees, groups, those influential spheres?
I saw Saeed do this. A guy, he's, I want to be careful because I don't know exactly where he's from in the Middle East, but I'll give my story that he doesn't look like them, he doesn't talk like them, and he's dark. And he broke it down to, you find your seed money to do your dream. You do what you have to do to get your seed money. You have a destination dream you want. And as you get your seed money and you do the things that are necessary and you fight your way through, once you're an owner, you have a seat at the table. Say you go into town and you buy a hotel, you pay a luxury tax. That luxury tax gets you a seat at the table that decides what's going to be done with that money. And I saw him because I was on the Waupun Festivals committee. I was invited in by some outsiders from Oshkosh, of all places, that were involved with Sawdust Days. They were like, we need you so bad on our committee. We have no diversity, please. And then everyone fought me coming in to the committee. So I know what you're saying. But he showed me, if you're an owner, you got a seat. Because he would come in and say, okay, you got my such and such a percentage hotel tax. How is that money being used? I saw him do it. So own something, you got a seat. How do you own something? Well, I raise money driving Uber, doing property maintenance and welding at the same time to open my little restaurant. I think it's possible for anybody to find out, well, what would it take to do that? Get your seed money by working, by having a budget, living within it, go through some rough times for a minute, and then be an owner so you get a seat at the table. But I think we need to do that across the state and get out of just people of African descent need to get out of just our neighborhoods. And whites and blacks and Hispanics and Asians need to prosper together.
I think we are getting out of our neighborhoods.
I think we are too, but but in Wisconsin, we're a little slow.
I don't know. I don't know if that's our fault.
No, it's not it's no one's fault. It's our opportunity to me.
I get that.
I think it's our current opportunity because there's so many cities that are 95% plus white in Wisconsin.
Yes. The reason I say this is, there is histories here, right? So I always think about it from the standpoint sometimes of, okay, people wonder why, like, there's not, let's say, more black businesses in a place like here. And then I think, you look at some of the businesses that are here and they're legacy businesses. So that means they were here from grandparents to parents to children now. But when their grandparents started, this place was a sundown town where you couldn't spend the night. And if you can't spend the night, you can't own nothing.
Elaborate when you say sundown, you couldn't spend the night. I know what you mean. Your listeners?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, it's terminology. It's what I want to say is there's acknowledgement to me in the region. But if we want to break it down, it is exactly what it sounds. It sounds before the sun gets down, if you were brown, you had to get out the city.
And just for clarification, how long was that kind of crap on the books?
Into the 70s.
Exactly. Most people don't know that because I tell that story.
Oh no, it was into the 70s, and that was the whole region. Yeah. So it's not Oshkosh specific.
No,
Appleton had it.
Yeah, Appleton had it,
and everybody had it. Actually, the whole region had it.
The story was introduced to me because some Packers went in Jim's place downtown Appleton and had to leave, and that was just sad that in the 70s that
right
we still had that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I get what you're saying, and it's true, and it has made it difficult.
Well, I'm not even saying difficult. What I'm saying is that's the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
That's what put us way behind the race of entrepreneurship and the ability to be included and involved, right? Because even though these things got off the books at a certain point, right? Because it wasn't on the books because it wasn't official. It was culture.
Yeah,
it's culture. Nothing changes slower than culture, and culture is undefeated. Yeah. And I'm just being real. So my thing is this: eventually, right, we're in a space now that we are culture shifting around here. There's recognitions, there's things that had to change. There's been huge demographic shifts.
Oh yeah.
Right.
When I got here, there was 5. Yeah. 5. And I knew all 5.
And so, but I'm saying that in the sense of like this, the reason we're at where we're at, and people don't understand that we are not as far as others, and they look and then they make comparisons, is because we weren't even allowed in the race.
Right.
We were said, hey, nah, you can't even be in this track meet until, and even then it was like, well, we're really not used to, right? Because the culture is undefeated, and it takes forever to change culture. And we're still working at it, right? We are still we are nowhere near being, what I want to say, equitably inclusive.
No. Right.
But we acknowledge that there's things that have changed and we need to do better. And I do think that's our common place where we're at right now.
Yeah. I just want to add, I don't want to make it sound like I'm that guy who doesn't think there's a problem, doesn't think there has been a problem. No, I'm that guy who has overcome the problem. When we talk about the bomb back in the 90s, we had instances where the city made it hard for me to have a business here. When you send in police officers 4 or 5 nights a week and they card every single person in there, that lets the air out the room. It deflates people. It makes people feel like there's no place for me here. And that's what it felt like when you pull. I don't know if people know that people in their 50s and older, when we came into Oshkosh in the 80s, we were pulled over on the way in and the way out. For real. I have been pulled over on each entrance ramp off the highway onto the city. One day I got pulled over 3 times in the same day. So you're talking about improvement? Oh, it's greatly improved. You can have a great quality of life here now, but some people paid for that. And I don't think people understand that when you come into a town that its biggest employer is a prison.
That wasn't the big, well, maybe.
And the university?
The university probably.
Well, what I mean,
I don't know back at that time what the biggest employer was.
The point is that the culture was more of a prison town to me. And when you have an Oshkosh and a Waupun and what's that? Well, when you have 4 or 5 prisons in the region, male and female, that's different, because the majority of, or a high percentage of what type of jobs are open, police or oversee a population that is way more diverse than the outside population. And so it kind of, to me, I've had those conversations with people that tell me, honestly, I've never had a conversation with a person of African descent. And then it goes deep, especially if you're having a cocktail.
It's either going to go deep or it's going to go bad.
Yes, that's
going to go one or two.
It's going to go one way or the other. Fortunately, I've had more go good because I've learned to ask questions when stupid stuff is said instead of respond to stupid stuff. So I'll ask a question that basically puts a mirror up, and you get a completely different response than if you answer if you respond to their ignorance with you're pissed off or violence. That's way different than if you respond with wisdom or you respond with intelligence. It just throws the whole thing off, because most people that would make a problem, they don't expect you to be intelligent anyway. So I started having fun with it.
Facts. Okay. Any last words you want to say about your topic of the week?
We're going to benefit from our younger generation's love for culture from people of African descent when we take all of the good that came from it and the ambition and tenacity comes from our culture and our music and all of the things that are currently influencing white culture in a way I never seen it as a youth. We're going to really benefit from it when we learned that it's that grit and that determination from where we come from that makes all of this great stuff and these great athletes and this great music and all the stuff that people love. That's what makes it. And as I watch, having kids in so many generations as I do, when I watch the younger kids, I watch them live a life without race or color. I've never seen it before. It encourages me. And I think we solidify it when we make it where you go into a small town and a percentage of the town is everything, and a percentage of the ownership matches the percentage of America. Then we're going to do way better, and we'll depend less on other countries because we'll have more of our own people solving our own problems, because that's what entrepreneurship and investment is all about. It's about answering that problem for your fellow, your neighbor, your other citizens, whether it's here in your city, in your state, or around the world. Entrepreneurship and investment answers the call of everything. What do we need? How do we grow? How do we develop? It's really all tied to solve a problem for someone else, and you are paid according to your service.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Kosh listeners, you know what that means? It is time to wind down. We're about to start wrapping up this episode. This felt good. I'm not going to lie. I took away tons of nuggets today, and I'm hoping you did too. So as you know, I always like to say, thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for giving us your minds and your ears. Thank you for being interested in another impactful individual within our community who makes difference, who cares, who is involved, and has been for a long time. Kevin is a trendsetter in so many ways. And I hope some of that came through today and why this conversation was very valuable. We are a work in progress. We are always looking to get better. And how can we do that? With your help. We need your help to help us become the best podcast we can in the Northeast region. That's what we're going to be shooting for in 2024. And how do we do that? We need you. Contact us. Let us know what we can do to be better. Do you have ideas for us? Also, would you like to be a guest? Let me know. Do you have recommendations for guests? Let me know. You can reach us at askthekosh@gmail.com. Once again, that is askthekosh@gmail.com. I answer all the emails, and when you do, these things really happen. Just let me know. All right. And then I got one more request for you to help the Kosh out in particular, and that is, while you are listening to the Kosh, hit that subscribe button and also leave us a little quick review. And what that does is it helps to improve our analytics, and the better analytics we have, the more eyes and ears that we get in front of for people to learn about the Kosh. We think we have something very special here and something that really is a positive impact on our greater community. We're helping to learn about each other. We're helping to know each other. We're helping to get out of our silos and know our neighbors. I don't know if we got a lot of other platforms that are doing that right now in this region like this, but we doing it at the Kosh. So, all right. Now, on to the next. Oh, you know what that means? It's shout out time. So, Kev, who you got for shout outs?
Let's start with the family. So I have to do a shout out to my 10-year-old best friend in the world, my son Ezra. My son who's going to UW Oshkosh, he's going back today. Zechariah is a freshman at UWO, and my wife also went to UWO.
Well, you know, we
some Kosh family.
Oh yeah, we take being a Titan seriously in this household.
Yeah, and I serve drinks across the street from you. Not playing. I used to. And then my son Kevin Jr. grew up in Oshkosh, went to Oshkosh North, and he's now married to Hallie. And so shout out to the Abernathys. And I don't know if my daughter and Kayla and her husband Anwar, they're in Houston, Texas. I don't know if they're going to listen to this, but if they will, shout out to them. My parents, who I have been getting to know as an adult, it's been an amazing thing. I shout out to them because being an adult child is a little different when you didn't have all of the, I mean, as a parent now that has raised children to adulthood, it's different when I didn't have all of that. So I've had to learn how to be a parent. So shout out to them for what they keep growing as adults. And I think that's, hey, and to you, shout out to Timber. It's been a journey watching all of the things that you've been involved with over the last, what's it? I met you in what, 94?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, that's about right.
That's a few years, man. A few decades.
And that's more than one or two.
Yeah.
So facts.
Shout out to you.
Appreciate that. All right. My shout outs for this week. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm going to give a quick shout out to my man Kempton, who did the Black History Month event in Appleton at Appleton West High School. It was a fire event. Well produced, well done. The participation by the BIPOC student group, the people that showed up, oh my God, the community showed up hard. Like they were in the seats. I give Appleton so much credit with how they show up to these things. Like they show up. And like literally when you look out in the crowd, it's a melting pot of all sorts of individuals. And here's the great thing. You know who was dominating that spot? Seniors. There's a bunch of seniors up in there supporting, going hard. And I am proud. So I just want to send a special shout out for Kempton for even putting this event on. He's done it for years, but this year was by far, I think, the best one. This was well done and tight. I want to send a shout out to Anthony Miller, who was the keynote speaker. Killed the game. Just killed the game. But every time Mr. Miller gets in front of that microphone and he is allowed to be authentically who he is, he always brings the house down. And he no doubt lived up to it. And it was special. I want to send a special shout out to the person who won the Icon Award, Sarah. Now, Sarah has been living in Appleton since mid-70s. And she is just authentically pure good. And I don't even know how else to put it. Like when you meet her, like you're surrounded by it. She has this energy, she's just that. It feels warm to be in her presence. You feel nurtured just standing by her. I am grateful to have met her. She keeps it 100. And we all need those people in our lives. And we also need to see what success looks like for those who've lived through it all and have been here for a really long time.
Do you know when I did my first business in this region? 1988.
Yep. That's what I'm talking about. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, not like my first visit. No, my first business. 1988.
I was a freshman in high school. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go deep in that one.
And I lived in your neighborhood at that time. I lived in Sherwood.
Yeah.
I was right. Was that about a half a mile away from where you grew up?
Nah, I grew up at like where I grew up. See, I went to Whitefish, man.
I mean, that's not what I meant. I meant where you went to high school.
Oh, yeah.
Not where you grew up.
No, it was right there. You were in that region.
I was right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was in that region.
And so I know your struggles at that time.
Yeah, we're going to leave that alone.
Yes. Let's next.
And then my last shout out, and I'm starting to make this a
Wait,
tradition.
I just got to throw one more thing in there.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Because you said something about I love this comment. You said so-and-so keeps it 100. I want to thank her because I only keep it about 80. It's dangerous for me to keep it 100. And so I really appreciate people like her who can keep it 100.
I think that, you know what I think that comes with?
What's that?
I think that comes with maturity. When you hit a certain level, they can keep it 100 because they know how to deliver the 100.
Yeah, I have not become quite as diplomatic as I can become.
Yeah.
I got work to do.
We all do. And then my last shout out that I always like to give, and I think this is going to become a new tradition of the Kosh. I got to send a very, very special shout out to the wife who allows us to come into the space and host these podcasts, and is very, like, she supports me through and through. She's got me. And I always feel that. I feel loved.
I was kind of wondering how you pull off people coming into your house early on a weekend morning. That's called good wife.
That's called supportive wife.
Yeah, supportive, cool wife.
All right.
Can we clone that?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's one thing left to do.
What's that?
And you have 3 choices. Your 3 choices are: option A is parting words of wisdom for the Kosh listeners. Option B, tell us, what would yourself today tell your 13-year-old self? Or option C, both, all of the above.
Wait. A was what? Leave some wisdom? And B
parting
was
words of wisdom for the Kosh listeners.
Or tell what I tell my 13-year-old self.
What would yourself today tell your 13-year-old self?
I think it's both, because if I tell you what I tell my 13-year-old self, it might help the listeners too.
Let's go.
Something.
Yeah, let's go.
It's not a Snickers commercial, but it's going to be a while. When you have vision, you can see what's possible. But between you are here and there it is, it's going to be a while. Stick with it.
Facts. All right. Thank you, Kev, for spending this time with the Kosh listeners. What'd you think?
I loved it. Thank you for having me. It's enlightening to be in your presence, sir. Thank you so much.
The Kosh.